Warframe's Fortuna expansion is now live on PC, and we got some interesting financial reports from Nexon and NC Soft. All that and more, I'm Ethos, and this is Free to Play Weekly. Finally, after begging for it since closed beta, Wizards of the Coast have finally announced that Direct Challenge will be in Magic the Gathering Arena on November the 15th. Right on my birthday too. Papa bless. This announcement was made by game director Chris Clay on Twitter, shouting it from the rooftops. For those of you unaware, Direct Challenge means that you can now challenge any of your friends directly to a match instead of beforehand where all you could do was use a matchmaker. As a player of Magic the Gathering Arena myself, this is awesome news that the community has been asking for a long time. I'm glad to see that promises have been kept. Moving on to some financial news, NC Soft released its Q3 2018 financial report this past week, and it's a pretty quiet one. Of the 5 games typically covered in the report, only Lineage 2 saw significant different sales from Q2, while the other 4 games, Lineage, Blade and Soul, Aeon, and Guild Wars 2 saw only minor variations. In terms of the company overall, operating profit was down 13% from the previous quarter and a net income down 33%. Now of course it's important that I note that none of this means that NC Soft is in trouble exactly. Based off the sales alone in this report, none of the company's games are doing so poorly as to warrant them being shut down. And digging a little further into reports of everyone's favorite publisher, Nexon, we can see some interesting things to note. Record high Q3 revenues and operating costs and net income is how Nexon's latest financial report starts out, and it gets better from there. Nexon has also entered into a strategic capital and business partnership with Embark Studios, headed by the former DICE CEO Patrick Soderlund, which will see it serve as the worldwide publisher for the company's as yet unannounced games. The usual suspects, namely Dungeon & Fighter and MapleStory, lead the way for Nexon's strong quarter. MapleStory 2 didn't exactly launch until recently, so it won't show up until the Q4 report. The mobile market in North America and Europe was particularly strong thanks to in large part to the launch of MapleStory M in July. Overall, Q3 wasn't as strong as Nexon's amazing Q1, but it was a solid improvement over its somewhat lackluster Q2. For Q4, Nexon isn't too optimistic, however, expecting revenues to be down slightly overall, but up big 50% or more in North America and Europe thanks to MapleStory 2. Multiple mobile games are also on the horizon for those regions, and the company plans to share 14 new games at G-Star in Korea, which starts this week, so keep your eye out for that. Now, while I'm sure some of you may not care or understand the need for news like this, it's actually pretty helpful for gamers to see the current patterns and health of the companies that work on the games that you play, to get some insight into the current health of your game's status, as well as its foreseeable future. And so we can move on to some more interesting news, and it's looking official. Riot definitely has something new in the works. Of course, we already knew this was a matter of time ever since the company's founders announced that they wanted to live up to the games part of their company's name. Now we know that they are working on something titled Legends of Runeterra in the works. Yesterday, Reddit user Zillion Predicts posted a series of links to trademarks Riot filed under the Legends of Runeterra name. Many of them include consumer goods, toys, electronics, and the like. The last few in the list indicate that whatever the game is, Riot has esports planned in the mix. Whether this means the game won't be an MMO speculated about in the past is still up for debate. They could be planning ahead for general PvP tournaments. Of course, we'll have to wait until they're ready to tell us to find out for certain, but here's to the fun that we'll have guessing at least. Me personally, I'm betting that Riot's ready to announce a fighting game. And finally, at long last, Warframe's Fortuna update is now live on PC. In addition to all the gameplay you'd expect, which includes cruising on the K-Drive hoverboard, to new cave exploration, animal conservation, mining, robot fishing, and intense battles against robot spiders in the nefarious Nef Anyo and the Greedy Corpus faction, Digital Extremes had an alternate reality game, ARG, going on in the Discord channel that got players figuring out the backstory of the new Solaris United faction. And if that wasn't enough, you can earn more loot via Twitch drops. All you need to do is watch a Warframe Fortuna stream that's sponsored by Twitch's drops for at least 1 hour until 2 p.m. Pacific on November the 15th for the chance to pick up a random reward, such as fireworks, or a chance at Warframe's Nidus or Korra, or a Rifle Raven. Now, Fortuna is only on PC as of right now, with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One players getting a chance to dive in at a later date. I know that a lot of you guys are probably playing it right now, so that leads us to our question of the week. Since I saw a lot of you guys were Warframe players, let me know your guys' thoughts on Fortuna. Enjoying it? Having issues? Or waiting since you don't have it on PC? Let me know in the comments below. And that's it for this week's Free to Play Weekly. Don't forget to check out mmobomb.com for giveaways and the latest news. My name is Ethos, and I'll catch you guys next week.